In your opinion, should Liverpool be looking at sacking Jurgen Klopp?
I mean, I think it's hard not to. I mean, that's how it is in football. Jurgen Klopp obviously is a Liverpool legend. I mean, for what he's able to do, but it's looking like this team has just finally gotten all they can out of him. I mean, it's looking like they're not responding to him like they did in prior years. I mean, this offense is basically non-existent. I mean, Mohamed Salah is basically not even out there. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I saw some crazy stat that was like Liverpool's leading goal scorer is some guy on loan. I mean, some guy that's not even on their team anymore. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, Gakpo has not been anything of what that we thought. It's looking like it's going to be another waste of money, another
Like
a
Darwin
transfer
Núñez?
flop, like Darwin Núñez. And that was what, like we said, was going to be the nail in the coffin, just because they gambled on these big money signings and none of them planned out to how they expected. And it's like it's going to cost Jurgen Klopp his job, because I mean, 10th place for this Liverpool team is unacceptable. I mean, it's you can't, for what Liverpool, I mean, or maybe this is just what they're reverting back to the norm of, like, this is what Liverpool actually is. They're not, they had a great little run of they played up. But the team is no longer really responding to Jurgen Klopp no more. And usually when that happens, it's time to bring in a new person in. And I think that is what needs to happen. I mean, maybe it's going to take a new voice to get to these players to, get them back to at least in the top 5. I mean, get back in, you're a big 6 club and you're in 10th place right now. So, I mean, and especially when Newcastle is up there and they're trying to take your spot. I mean, there's teams that are trying to, assert themselves and be one of the big 6 now, instead of taking of Liverpool's spot. So it's important that Liverpool need to get out of this rut, and to do that, it's going to look like it's going to cost Jurgen Klopp his job. And I think that's what should happen. I mean, they need a new voice in the locker room. And unfortunately, I love Jurgen Klopp for what he's been able to do, but it's just, how football works. I mean, we've seen great managers, but they don't last forever. I mean, there's only so many times you can hear the same voice tell you to do the same thing until it just stops working.
It's an interesting opinion of yours. For me, I think Jurgen Klopp has been dealt a shit hand of cards here, is the best analogy to be used here. I think if I'm Liverpool, I wouldn't sack Jurgen Klopp. I think you consider it, and I think genuinely they might actually sack him. But if I'm Liverpool, I wouldn't do it, because Jurgen Klopp is probably top 2 managers in the Premier League. I mean, Mikel Arteta has been a revelation, but it's still early days. I'm not going to put him in that conversation with Pep and Klopp yet. So for me, it's Pep and Klopp, the best 2 managers in the Premier League. And I don't think you just let that guy walk. I don't think you can justify sacking him. Although the performances have been shit, you got to look at the cards he's been dealt. I mean, first of all, a midfield 3 that they used against Wolves was Thiago Bajcetic. I don't even know how to say that. I'm probably butchering that. And Keita.
Possibly.
And obviously, Thiago is a great player. But Keita has been a shit signing ever since he joined Liverpool.
Ever since he came.
That's not going to... Yeah. Like, this midfield trio is not the same as what it's been in the past for Liverpool. They have a shit midfield, and arguably the worst center back pairing in the Premier League right now in Joe Gomez and Joel Matip. It looks like... Obviously, when you have Van Dijk, it paves over a lot of the cracks of the Liverpool defense. But, you got Andy Robbo, who's a great left back, and Trent, who's a very good attacking fullback, but he's never been good at defending. And so basically, 3 out of 4 of this Liverpool defense are shit defenders. That's like, they're just shit defenders. So I think Klopp has been dealt a shit hand here, and he might get sacked because of, when you're 10th place, something's got to change. I mean, I get it. But Liverpool, they need to re-inject the squad with actually proper signings that actually make sense, because signing Gakpo in January didn't make really any sense. I mean, I look, you want to sign attackers, you want to score goals because, you've been shit all season, but they could have used a midfielder so much more than Gakpo. And I think Gakpo might have actually performed better in Manchester United, where, he would have been with Ten Hag, but that's a conversation for another day. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if Gakpo was the right signing. So you signed Gakpo for, what was it, almost 40 million, but then you're leaving them with Thiago Bajcetic and Keita in midfield. Like, that's not going to be a midfield that can win you Premier League games. Because in my opinion, Lamina and Neves for Wolves is literally a better midfield. Ruben Neves is a way better midfielder than Keita. Yeah. He's way better. And then
Yeah.
If when your midfield is so bad, you're subbing on Harvey Elliott, Jordan Henderson, James Milner. I mean, there is just no real good options in the midfield right now for Liverpool. Obviously, some of that is because of injury, but at a certain point, you have to realize that the players are just shit. They're just not that good. I mean, Salah, obviously, we know he can be good, but even he
He
can't
had a
play up to his
horrible game
standards.
versus Wolves.
He can't play up to his standards when he doesn't have a proper midfield behind him. When he's playing with Darwin Núñez, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, this is not the same Liverpool team. And to be honest, I've said it before. They shouldn't have ever sold Mane. They should have found a way to keep him. But even if they had Mane, they would still be shit because of how bad this midfield and defense is. They have such big issues at Liverpool right now with personnel that firing Klopp would just be like the scapegoat, and it would just pave over the cracks of the real issues at Liverpool. It's very similar to Chelsea, but it's also different. Chelsea have a lot of personnel issues. Obviously, they're willing to spend way more than Liverpool to fix those issues. But I think Potter should go because I don't believe in Potter. But Klopp has already proved himself. We know how good of a manager he is. If you give him the personnel, he will succeed. It's a proven. It's a fact. If you put Klopp on Chelsea right now, they're a way better team. But no manager with these cards that he's being dealt at Liverpool right now would succeed. I genuinely believe that. Pep, no manager in the world would succeed with this Liverpool team at the moment. It's just not a good team. So they might sack Klopp, but I think it would be a mistake because then you have shit players and you're going to bring in a manager that is not Jurgen Klopp. It's going to be very difficult to find a better manager than Klopp that is willing to take that job right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, and to give Liverpool the benefit of the doubt, they do have a very long injury list. I mean, I just took a look at it. I mean, they have obviously Virgil van Dijk they reported out till February 18th. Bobby Firmino out, Diego Jota out, Arthur still out. Konate, who actually got injured not too long ago, one of their better center backs is injured.
Yeah.
Luis Diaz and Luis Diaz still injured from I believe last season, but he's I think what did he do? Tear an ACL, I believe. It was a bad injury.
Something like that. Yeah, bad injury.
So yeah, he's out till March 5th, and I mean, it's hard to play against that. I mean, it's hard to overcome that when you basically the better batch of your players on your team is injured. I mean, it's similar to Real Madrid. I mean, we've talked about a lot of injuries the same, but this is pretty bad. I mean, obviously, Virgil van Dijk is arguably their best player, and he's out. I mean, well, they're two center backs. Both their best center backs are out. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to do that, and you're pulling Allison, put back there, and poor Allison can't do nothing about it because his defense sucks. And Mohamed Salah's playing horrible because he has a bad midfield. I mean, it's a big slew of things, but it's, I personally, if they sack Klopp, I mean, I'd like him at Madrid.
Oh, I would love him at Chelsea. I mean, every club would want Jurgen Klopp. That's how good of a manager he is.
Every club would want Jurgen Klopp. But it's just how sometimes just how football is. I mean, this team could bring in another manager, whatever. Let's just say they bring in Thomas Tuchel or something. They could react in that short instance better with Tuchel and maybe get up to fifth. Because that's just how like the weird odd of how shit works in football. But obviously Jurgen Klopp is an upper tier echelon manager, obviously like top 3 in the world. But I think that's just what needs to happen for Liverpool, that they just need that change, that switch, because I mean, realistically, who are they going to get? I mean, they get all fit again. I don't think that's really going to change very much. And it's like, does Klopp want to retire here? What's the goal? What's the point here? Like, what's going to be the end goal? But I mean, it might just be better. They're both off, just, parting ways.
Parting ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could see that. And if that's what Klopp wants to do and that's what Liverpool wants to do, like, I understand it and I understand why. But I don't think Liverpool should be chomping at the bit saying we will immediately solve all of our problems if Klopp goes, because I don't think that's the case. You know what I mean? And they might end up parting ways, like we kind of said. But they should not be like eager to do it. They shouldn't be like, we got to sack him right now. This is Jurgen Klopp we're talking about. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
I think Liverpool should just, almost kind of go into like a semi-rebuild. I mean, sell Salah. Yeah. Sell Salah and, maybe, get rid of Núñez or try and make something work. I don't know. Really, you can't get nothing for Núñez. So, I mean, I think Gakpo's, he's a solid player. I don't think he's going to be a world beater. I don't think he's Kylian Mbappe or nothing, but
obviously
he could be a solid player. He could be pretty good.
They're
and
calling
they have
Gakpo's on the verge
yeah
of being 007, 0 goals, 0 assists, 7 games played.
007.
But I cut you off. What were you
That's a great
saying?
stat to have. No. I basically wasn't saying much anymore. Just that it might be time to get rid of some of the more veteran guys that are worth money. I mean, I would cash in on Salah. When you look at it right now, you cash in on Salah, you could possibly get 80, 70 odd
70
million for him.
million,
I
I would
mean,
think. Yeah.
that's 70 million right around there. So I
And
mean,
PSG, maybe you
you
can finesse
cash
him for a
in.
little more.
Yeah, possibly, but it's just what should be looked at now, and the Liverpool era looks to be coming to an end.
It's unfortunate, and it's one of those things. It's going to be an era that goes underappreciated because they didn't win as much as probably they should, and that's because of Pep Guardiola and because of Man City. And it's just crazy because that Liverpool team, we all remember how good they were.
It was very, very good, but they did in a sense they did kind of underachieve
They
because I
did.
mean, but the fact they are able to, I mean, they're the first team in a long time to make back-to-back Champions League finals. I mean, other than Madrid, who else has done that in recent memory? I mean, it's very impressive in what they do, and like you said, they had to compete against that Man City team, so that's always going to be something that's going to be taken out because I mean, before they broke through and won the league, they lost to City the year before by 1 point. That's
Yeah.
how close it was. They lost by 1 point. But
Mm-hmm.
that's always going to be one of the better sides that we've possibly ever seen,
Ever
definitely in
seen.
our lifetime. But things have to come to an end. Things don't last forever.